Love in the Demon's Gate. Rain lashed against the windows of the abandoned temple, the wind howling like a banshee. Inside, huddled for warmth, were Bright and Wynne, two university students on a research trip that had gone wrong. They'd been lured by whispers of a forgotten ritual, a gateway to the spirit world hidden deep within the decaying structure. Now they were trapped, not by locked doors, but by an unseen terror that stalked the echoing halls. Bright, the more pragmatic one, shivered despite his worn jacket. We should have listened to the villagers," he muttered, his eyes darting towards the shadows. Wynne, ever the optimist, tried a smile. We'll find a way out. We always do." But his voice lacked its usual cheer. The legend spoke of a Rakshasa, a malevolent demon guarding the gateway. Every full moon claimed a sacrifice. The townsfolk believed they'd appeased it for generations, but the recent disappearances suggested otherwise. Days bled into nights. Hunger gnawed at their bellies, and fear gnawed at their minds. Yet, it was the strange occurrences that truly terrified them. Objects moved on their own, whispers seemed to emanate from the walls, and fleeting glimpses of a monstrous figure sent shivers down their spines. One night, huddled by a flickering candle, an old leather-bound book Wynne had found tumbled open. It depicted a ritual, an offering to appease the Rakshasa. Ingredients were scarce, but hope for the first time flickered in their eyes. The ritual site was a hidden chamber, its entrance marked by an inscription Wynne deciphered from the book. Inside, the air hung heavy with the smell of decay. As they gathered the meager offerings, the temperature dropped, and a growl echoed from the darkness. A hulking figure emerged, its eyes glowing embers, fangs glinting in the dim light. Panic surged, but then Wynne did something unexpected. He stepped forward, holding out a single red rose, a symbol of love and sacrifice from the book. The Rakshasa snarled, confused. Fear battled with a strange sense of yearning in its crimson eyes. Wynne, his voice barely a whisper, spoke the words from the book, a plea for peace, an offering of understanding. The tension stretched then, with a roar that shook the chamber, the Rakshasa vanished. A lone red rose remained, its petals shimmering with an otherworldly light. As dawn broke, casting weak rays into the chamber, they discovered another inscription. A forgotten tale of a Rakshasa, cursed for loving another of its kind, forever guarding a doorway to the spirit world, yearning for a connection it could never have. Escaping the temple, they were changed. They'd faced terror together, unearthed a forgotten story, and perhaps even found a strange kind of solace in the shared experience. Back in the village, under the watchful eyes of the villagers, Bright and Wynne stood a little closer. The horror and mystery had brought them together, but it was the shared understanding, the unspoken connection forged in the face of the unknown, that bloomed into something more. The Rakshasa might have been a terrifying legend, but its tale, a reminder of the power of love, even in the most unexpected places, resonated deeply within them. News of their harrowing experience and unlikely solution to the Rakshasa's curse spread like wildfire. Bright and Wynne, once just university students, found themselves local heroes. However, whispers followed them, some tinged with fear, others with morbid fascination. The villagers treated them with a mixture of respect and apprehension. Wynne, initially uncomfortable with the attention, found solace in spending time with Bright. Their shared ordeal had forged a deeper bond, a silent understanding that transcended words. Bright, ever the stoic one, couldn't deny the fluttering in his chest whenever Wynne's eyes met his. One evening, drawn by a strange hum, they ventured back to the temple ruins. Moonlight bathed the clearing in an ethereal glow, highlighting the inscription that revealed the Rakshasa's story. As Wynne traced the inscription with his finger, a warmth emanated from the stone. The air shimmered, and a translucent figure materialized, the Rakshasa. This time, it wasn't a terrifying beast, but a sorrowful spirit. It looked at them with a gratitude that transcended words, then extended a spectral hand, offering them a single, shimmering feather. It was beautiful, iridescent, and pulsed with an otherworldly energy. A gift, the Rakshasa's voice echoed in their minds, a telepathic message filled with a bittersweet ache. Use it wisely. With that, the spirit faded, leaving them holding the feather, a tangible reminder of their encounter. Intrigued, they delved back into their research, this time focusing on the feather. Ancient texts revealed it belonged to a celestial bird, a mythical creature said to bridge the gap between the physical and spiritual realms. Legend spoke of its ability to grant a single wish. The revelation hung heavy in the air. A wish, the weight of it settled on their shoulders. They spent nights lost in whispered conversations, grappling with the power entrusted to them. A wish could change their lives, fulfill their deepest desires. But their deepest desires felt intertwined. Did they each wish for a normal life, free from the shadow of the Rakshasa and the constant murmurings of the villagers? Or did they yearn for something more, something born from their shared experience, a connection that defied easy definition? As the next full moon approached, casting an eerie glow on the feather, Wynn looked at Bright, a question in his eyes. Bright's answer came in the form of a hesitant smile, a silent promise. Together, they held the feather, their fingers brushing. With a single, unified thought, they made their wish. The air crackled with unseen energy. The feather dissolved in a burst of light, bathing them in its soft glow. What their wish entailed remained a mystery, but as the light faded, they looked at each other, a sense of peace settling in their hearts. Their lives might never be entirely normal, not after what they'd experienced. However, they knew, with a certainty that defied explanation, that they would face whatever came next together. The Rakshasa's curse had been a terrifying ordeal, but it had also led them to an unexpected treasure. A love story born from the shadows, a connection fueled by shared courage and a single wish whispered under a full moon. The days that followed were filled with a quiet electricity. The unspoken wish hung between them, a secret language only they understood. One afternoon, while sorting through their research notes, Wynn reached for a book, his hand brushing against Bright's. A jolt shot through him, a spark that sent a blush creeping up his neck. Bright's hand lingered for a moment too long, his gaze lingering on Wynn's face with a newfound intensity. That night, under the pretext of needing help deciphering an inscription, Wynn found himself in Bright's dorm room. The air crackled with unspoken desires, the shadows dancing on the walls mimicking the nervous fluttering in their chests. Neither dared to make the first move, afraid of breaking the fragile tension. Finally, unable to bear the silence any longer, Wynn spoke, his voice barely a whisper. Do you ever think about what we wished for? Bright's eyes met his, a flicker of vulnerability in their depths. Every day, he admitted, his voice husky. It feels different being around you. Wynn's heart hammered against his ribs. He took a deep breath. Me too, he confessed, the words tumbling out in a rush. Like there's something more, something we can't quite explain. The space between them seemed to shrink. Bright leaned in slowly, his eyes searching Wynn's face for permission. Wynn met his gaze, his own heart pounding a frantic rhythm. As their lips met, it was like a homecoming, a fulfillment of a yearning they hadn't even realized they shared. The kiss was hesitant at first, filled with a mix of apprehension and wonder. Then, something shifted. The world around them faded away, replaced by the intoxicating sensation of their lips moving in sync. The fear and uncertainty that had haunted them since their encounter with the Rakshasa melted away, replaced by a sense of belonging they hadn't known existed. When they finally pulled away, breathless and exhilarated, they stared at each other, a silent understanding passing between them. Their wish, it seemed, had not been for a normal life, but for this, for a love story as extraordinary as their harrowing adventure. The following days were a whirlwind of stolen kisses, whispered confessions, and late-night conversations that stretched into the early hours of the morning. They explored their newfound feelings with a tentative excitement, reveling in the discovery of each other. The fear of what the villagers might say, the burden of their unusual experience, all seemed to fade into insignificance when they were together. One moonlit evening, they stood on the same spot where they'd first encountered the Rakshasa. Holding hands, they looked up at the celestial body, a silent thank you hanging heavy in the air. The Rakshasa's curse might have brought them together, but it was their wish, their unspoken yearning for something more, that had blossomed into a love story that defied all expectations. Looking into Bright's eyes, brimming with affection, Wynn knew that their love wasn't a mere coincidence. It was a testament to the power of shared experiences, of facing darkness together, and of the courage to wish for something extraordinary, even if it meant defying the ordinary. Their adventure might be over, but their love story, whispered under the watchful gaze of a full moon, was just beginning.